Good evening, all of you, and welcome in this fourth session. Yesterday, our resource person was Dr. Praveen Kumar Guttula, and he started his talk on Introduction to Python Programming for Biologists. And today also he will be the speaker in this session, and he will continue his thought on Introduction to Python Programming for Biologists. Welcome, dear professor, in this session. And now I hand over mic to you. You can unmute and please continue the session.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Yesterday, I already sent the materials. So I think people have some time. You can ask some questions.
Yes, dear participant, if you have any question, you can unmute or either you can raise your hand. Stephanie, you have a question, you can unmute.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Meha. Thank you, Dr. Praveen.
Yeah.
I have questions from yesterday class.
Yeah.
Thank you very much once again for yesterday lecture. So I went through some of the things you sent to us, though I have not finished going through. So it appears to me that for someone who is a beginner in this programming, I feel that there is a gap between what you taught us yesterday and what we need to know as regards introduction. Take, for instance, are there rules, are there languages that we need to be familiar with? I know you sent us, you dropped a link yesterday in my Python, and I have gone through that, but it still looks as if there is a gap between what you have taught and what we need to know. We need to know some rules, we need to know some functions, we need to know how to translate. And I don't know the recommendation you will give if there is another basic class for Python before the introduction class. I am saying this because I tried to answer some questions you sent and I couldn't. Having gone through your lecture notes and what you sent, I couldn't answer. In fact, trying to answer with the document you sent, so I couldn't do that. Then secondly, I have been doing some molecular docking studies. I got to a point where I was trying to dock my ligand and the receptor, and it started giving me some of these codes you taught us. So I got lost. I stopped there, and I was like, what is going on? I had to go back to Python class, and that was why I was excited with what you were teaching yesterday. But from all you taught yesterday, I couldn't still make my way to go back to my docking class, in the rudiments, because it was telling me to type some things. So I don't know the recommendation you will give for a beginner so that I won't probably need to be carrying dictionary of rules and regulations and codes to perform functions. That is it. And probably when you answer this, I just have one or two more. Thank you.
Okay. Actually, I don't know, like, what is your background? Like, your background is pure biology or?
Yeah. Okay. My first degree is biochemistry.
Okay.
And my second degree is pharmaceutical chemistry and medicinal / natural product chemistry. Now, drug design, because from whatever you get from the medicinal chemistry, drug design and development. So that is why I'm very much interested in the drug design aspect, so that is it.
Yeah, let me answer your question first. So, see, actually, the thing which you are learning, like from first day onwards, is about structural biology, right? That is a structural biology thing. So the docking. So if you want to design a drug, like, see, suppose if you have any overexpressed protein in particular suppose if you have a overexpressed protein in cancer, right? Suppose if you want to design any inhibitor, so you have to do docking. Okay, for that. Like, see, computationally, if you want to validate any molecule, so like when you are designing drug for particular disease, you have a lot of chemicals which you don't know like how it will work. Okay, so in order to know that, first you have to know the structure of your receptor protein first. Okay, so see, actually there are two different ways. See, how you will use your training session for your research and what new things you are going to learn, right? See, actually, so your background is biochemistry, and I understood that you're trying,
Yeah,
you're trying to do some docking thing.
yes.
So that is computational chemistry actually. So the molecular modeling on
yes.
drug designing thing, exactly.
Yes.
So that one, like what you're learning there, you can use it for your research. So there is no link between what you're trying to do in your research and what you're learning. See, now actually we are introducing Python. Okay, so why I am introducing this Python? Because this is very useful for for biologic who are pursuing biology. Okay, so you can analyze lot of DNA sequences, RNA sequences, which is available in the form of transcriptomics, chipsec data. So our main objective is to give the introduction. Okay, so taking this, okay, in your present, like suppose in future if you want to work on some big data analysis of transcriptomics or some other chipsec data or DNA sequencing, then you can use this knowledge. Okay, so we are not going to teach you how to dock the protein in Python. That's why I'm making it clear. So this is two different modules actually. So what you're learning in this training session is two different modules. So we want to teach you molecular modeling, how to design a drug. That is one part. So another part is how will you utilize programming languages for analyzing biological information. Okay, so that is the thing. And coming to your next recommendation, right? You're asking about some recommendation. See, people who are not aware of programming, especially people who are coming from pure biology background, obviously for them dealing with programming languages will be a little bit tough. I agree that. Okay, so it doesn't mean that it is tough. See, suppose if you want to learn, right, like it is just a starting point. So what I taught up to now is not that much advanced. Okay, see, suppose if you want to learn in any programming language in advanced manner, that will be very tough. So if you want to do that kind of advanced things, you have to be good in basics. So our main aim is to introduce small concepts in Python, so that in future, if you want to design some a research question on Python related to bioinformatics, then it can be useful for you. That is what our main aim.
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Yes.
I have also a reply for you, ma'am. Actually, Dr. Praveen sir is saying very correctly, and I want to add something more. When non-programming, any faculty who is never used any programming in the beginning, they always face many problems. And since we are working on this platform on research last 10 years, and many queries we got, and after that we try to sort out this type of problems. Now what we are doing, this platform is helping the researchers, faculty members in a different domain, because mathematics and computing these days has become indispensable tool for researchers. And any faculty member from other branches like bioscience, medical science, chemistry, or environment, they don't know these things. But at this platform, we are helping to each one. And now, as you are saying, how you can start basic foundation courses and training programs we are organized. And in this year, this will be there will be many sequence of programs which will be very helpful to all the faculty members or researchers or who are the beginners in computing part, because without computing, I think advanced level research is not possible. As you can see in the bioinformatic, there is a huge use of you can say Python. There is MATLAB is also there. R software is also there. Okay, and as well as we can see that machine learning, deep learning, data science, and all these things. AI is also play very important role in medical sciences, bioinformatic, and many more. So I think in this way, this platform will be also very helpful. And we have this type of basic foundation courses in this year, and we are trying to organize time to time so that we can help each other. And don't worry, if you are thinking to use computing part in your research, you need to start only. And Professor is also there. We in the previous there was a webinar, and we call him for this platform. And now many members who are working in the bioinformatic, biomedical science are connected with us, and we jointly organize many programs so that we can contribute in medical sciences also. Okay, I'm mathematician. I don't know about medical science, but computing part play very important role. We can help in the computing. Okay, basic background. If you have you are facing any problem, always there is a better thinking foundation, and this foundation will help you in many ways. Okay, so sorry, Praveen sir, I interrupt during your talk. Thank you, and I hope we will work together, and we will help each other. Thank you very much, sir. Now you can continue.
Thank you. Thank you. Please, I have 2 more questions. Can I go ahead?
I hope it will not take much time.
Okay. Now, what do you mean by compiled language from your last this thing? I saw compiled language is C, C++, and all those.
Yeah, exactly. See, when you are doing, let's see, once if you are writing any program, in any software, see, suppose you will write, you will use some compilers, no, for writing the programs. Okay. So what is that? Like when you are compiling means actually you are trying to check your program whether it will have any errors or not, right? So that is compiling actually. So when you do that, the interface which helps us to do that is called compiler. Okay, so every programming language have that actually. So it will check for the errors, and it will, if you have any error, then you can go back to your program and you can correct your mistake. That's it basically. So any other questions?
Okay, maybe it wasn't really clear, but maybe I will check later. So will you say that Python is a compiled language?
Yes. Actually, Python is actually it is not completely a compiler language. So that is a scripting language actually. Okay. So you can write small scripts in that. So that's why we call it as scripting language. So there are so many types of scripting languages. You know, like R is also scripting language. Okay. Bash scripting, we can say. So you know about, I don't know, like people are very less people know about Bash. So Bash scripting is one, that is also scripting language. Yeah.
Okay, so is it an assembled or disassembled language, or interpreted, since it's not fully I don't know. Can you just clarify that?
It is actually C. Are you aware of C language?
Sorry?
Do you know something about C programming or not?
No.
Okay, so everything you will have is compiling. Okay, that is called compiler, and interpreter means it will convert that code and it will make a system to understand. Okay, so this is like a cyclic process. So once if you give input, it will go to compiler, then it will go to interpreter, then it will just show us the output. Like because see, suppose if you talk to the system, it will not understand, right? You have to give some commands. That is about compiling and interpreting.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So one more question, Rebecca.
Yes, I do. I have a question. Thank you so much for your organizing this webinar. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be here, and I found it very useful for my kind of research.
Yeah.
I use
Actually, can I interrupt you? Can you please talk a little bit louder? I'm not able to hear you properly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm just saying thank you for organizing this webinar.
Yeah.
And I found it very useful for my kind of research. And I was wondering, the information is a lot. I couldn't finish going through all the PDF you sent yesterday. So I was wondering if because I need some time, I'm talking personally for myself now, I don't know for every other person. If we run into problems using these tools, can we contact you or any one of you to help us in the future?
Yes,
I'm talking of
future.
in the future. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
You can just
All right.
contact me. It's not a problem.
Okay. Thank you very much. Can you share your email, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will share my email to the coordinator, so he will share you. Okay. So I hope no more questions. Any questions? Okay, then I will continue to my session. So yesterday, I think hopefully, for people who are not aware of programming languages, it is a little bit tough to understand. But see, every time when you start something new, it is new for you. And obviously, it will be a little bit tough until you understand that. Once if you understand that, it doesn't make that much, it is not that much difficult, right? So don't worry. The major problem with, when people are working with computers, especially when you are from experimental background, so obviously you are you are allowed to work with real data in labs, okay, but computationally that is not possible. So you have to retrieve some publicly available data and you have to do some analysis things. You may need to know some programming language, some scripting language during this process. And people who is not having any background about programming languages, obviously for them it is a little bit tough. So it doesn't make that you can't learn. So you can learn. So don't worry about that. So if anyone want to regarding bioinformatics, if you want any help or if you want to collaborate in future, so we will be available. So not a issue. Like you can contact us, like based on your requirement, like based on your research question. If you need any help, like we are happy to help you. Okay. So okay, yesterday, so I will just share my screen. So yesterday we stopped here, like we are, I already asked you to convert the DNA sequence into RNA sequence. I hope everyone has done that, and like it's not a rocket science. It's like it's very easy. Just suppose if I use string operations directly with the dot replace function, I can do that, right? So next program which I'm going to discuss is, everyone is aware about GC content, right? Like what is GC content? Anyone, please? So anyone who is I think experimental people can easily answer this. Like, what is the GC content in DNA sequence? Like, what is the importance of that? Is my voice clear?
Yeah, I think it has 3 bonds, so it's stronger. It makes the DNA sequence.
Yeah. Okay.
hold
So I just want to know, like, how many people know about GC content of DNA? Like, what is its importance? Like, how it is useful? Like, what it is exactly? So why we have to consider GC content in DNA? What is the use of that? Can anyone
Yeah.
answer the question?
Yeah, GC content, the higher the GC content, the stronger the DNA, the more difficult it is to separate it. Because the GC is held together by 2 bonds.
Yeah.
While AT is held together by 2 bonds.
So yeah, exactly. So the GC content is like it will become more stable, right? Like if GC content is more, you require, see when you are, see basically what will happen during this central dogma of molecular biology. So you have a DNA, right? So from DNA you will get mRNA, from mRNA you will get proteins. So DNA is double stranded here. So it has to denature, right? Like, so suppose if you take PCR reaction also, what exactly we will do? So first thing, with help of temperature, no, we will denature the DNA. Okay. So more GC content, if it has, means it will require some higher temperature to break. Okay, that means it will become more stable. So the GC content is very important in terms of the stability. Okay. For suppose now, I am a biologist. Okay, so I have a DNA sequence with me. Now, I just want you to, like my DNA, if you take the genome sequence, right, the genome sequence will be very big, right? You can't count the GC content, like obviously by looking into that file, you can't count, right? So you need some software, or you have so many softwares which are available. Suppose if you want to use Python, how will you do that? Like how will you do that? So that is one type of question. So I will. So I'm I'm an experimental biologist. So I can't do that manually. So I need some help. Who knows softwares, programming languages? So I may go to some bioinformatician who knows that, right? So I'll ask him. You just calculate the GC content and tell me the GC content of this genome sequence or DNA sequence, right? Then what I will do? I'm a programmer, so I will write some simple program that which calculates the GC content of DNA, right? So now let's do this. So what we have to do? That means first we have to understand. So write a simple program to calculate the GC content of DNA. Okay, that means we have to calculate the GC percentage of DNA. Okay, how will we do that? See, before writing any program, you have to write steps. Okay, algorithm, that is called algorithm. See, what is algorithm? Steps of solving particular program or anything like problem or whatever it is. So before writing the code, you have to write the steps. So what you have to do? First thing is you have to take a DNA sequence, right? After that, so you have to read the question, write a simple program to calculate the GC content of DNA. So then you have to understand, yeah, DNA is a string. So I have to use the string manipulation. I have to use string operations. Then you have to, like, suppose if you are good in your practice, by seeing that you will come to know, yeah, I have to use dot count. That function will directly calculate that particular CG, and I can directly do that. Okay, so simply we will just do that program, and I will just show you how to do that. Right. So initial thing what we have to do is take a DNA sequence, right? So I am taking one variable, I am creating one variable. So I already sent you the PDF yesterday, so you will find that program in that PDF. Suppose when you are doing that, you can just open that PDF and you can just type, okay? So I'm just taking DNA sequence here. So I'm randomly giving one DNA sequence, okay? Okay. Okay, so this is my DNA sequence. As I told, always you have to, when you are declaring a string, you have to use like quotes, whether it is single quotes or double quotes. That depends upon how you are taking. So I took the DNA sequence. Now what I have to do? So this is a string operation, that is clear. I know that. Now I have to count that. I have to calculate the GC percentage. Like basically, how will you calculate the percentage? Suppose if you ask me 7% is like 7 by percentage means it is 100. Okay, so 7 by 100. That's what it is. We will do, right? Suppose that depends upon the percentage will also depends upon the length of that particular string here. So here I want to calculate the GC content. So that GC content depends upon how will you calculate the percentage of this particular string. Okay, so I should know the length of the string. Okay, so what you have to do, just see easily, like len is one function. Simply use this variable dnsic. Okay. Now it will show what is the length of that particular sequence. That is 40 nucleotides you have. So the length of the sequence which we are going to calculate the GC percentage for the GC percentage is 40. So next step is, now I took the DNA sequence. Now I know the length of that particular DNA sequence. Then what I have to do? I have to count how many C's are there, how many G's are there. So I am simply copying this. Right. Okay. So I created one new variable called C. So the dnsic is the DNA sequence which we created first. Dot, as I told yesterday, if you want to see particular function, you have to use dot. Then it will show you what are the available operations. So here we need to count, right? How many C's are there? How many G's are there? So I have took that. So another variable which I took for initially I took C for calculating C. So now I'm taking another variable for counting the G's. Okay. Now you can see the variables. Yeah. So how many C's are there? 9. How many G's are there? 9. Now what will be your GC percentage? Right. So you need to write a formula for that. Like how will you calculate? So I am taking this, simply copying here. Yeah, you can see. So float is, why are we using float here? Can anyone tell this? So you can see here I'm using float. What is the reason of using that? When we will use float? Anyone? So basically when we are calculating the percentage, no, we will get decimal points. So we may get percentage about 29.5%, 52.53%. So we will get some value after the decimals. Right. So that is very important when you are calculating percentages. Exactly. So here we are talking about GC percentage. So for us, the value which we are going to get after decimal is also very important, and we don't want to miss that. That's why what we are doing is we are just using float so that it will not ignore the decimal points. Okay, so that's why I'm using float. Then I open the bracket. So C is the variable for counting total number of C's in the sequence. So that is small c, capital G is for capital G, small g is for capital G, by length of the DNA. That means what is the length of DNA sequence here? 40, right? So then simply into 100. I told always percentage will be into 100. So what is the percentage now? 55.0%. You understood? So this is the one. So, easily, yeah, this one is small sequence, but sometimes we may get very big sequence. So then you can't, you can't do that manually, right? So you can't count every G, every C in your particular sequence. See, by writing simple program, you can just do that. And next one is, I hope everyone is following. Any questions? Any doubts? Okay, continuing. So this is the program for calculating the GC content of DNA. Okay. So next one is, I am going to introduce some other concept here. Find. How will we use find function? For what we will use find? Okay. For this, I don't know, like how many people are aware of, yeah, everyone knows about DNA, mRNA. Can anyone tell what is the stop codon and what is the difference between start codon and stop codon in molecular biology? Anyone? So what is the difference between, what is a codon first? I just want to know like how people are, no one? At least people who are from biology background can answer this question.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, I can try. When you were talking about start codon to initiate synthesis of a protein, of a linkage or of a peptide. But I think you also asked what a codon is. And I think with my background, I think it's a sequence. UUG, AUG, something like that, a sequence of 3 consecutive nucleotides that I think that form either a DNA or RNA. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So
the start code, okay, the start is to initiate and the stop is to end, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll just answer this question. So like codon. So when you take the DNA sequence and RNA sequence, everyone knows the difference. The DNA is double stranded and RNA is single stranded, and you already know that in the place of thymine you have uracil in mRNA, right? Yeah. See, after this, yeah, who is raising hand? Yeah.
Yeah, it's me. I'm trying to replicate what you did, but it's giving me error syntax. I don't know what I did wrong.
What you have done? Anyone is getting error, like only you? Any others?
No, I mean to the DNA sequence to type those codes. Does it mean that it has to be exact known code?
No. You can give any code, but see.
It's giving me, it said, let me read out. X plus Y, name error, name Y is not defined. So
I think you didn't define your Y variable, no? Like I don't know. Can you please send your code in chat box, like how you wrote?
How do I do that now? Screenshot.
So you don't need to do it exactly. See here, the concept is very simple here. If you see, I created a DNA sequence which is having.
I think you're cracking. I can hear. I don't know how to share this. In fact, I don't know how to share the Python I do that I'm writing with you. I'm just following exactly what you're doing, and I put the bootstrap. I mean, what do they call this? To close up, and maybe you can continue. I will sort it out. Probably more practice.
Okay.
Yes,
so you can just see like how I have done. So I created a DNA sequence. Then I calculated the length. So that is length. See, so LEN means that is length actually, short term. So DNA sequence is variable name which you create. Okay, so that doesn't mean that you have to create the same variable name which I am using. So you can create some other variable also with that. So you don't need to follow exactly what I'm doing. but the concept should be same, because see here I took C, maybe you took X, maybe I took G here, you took Y maybe, but that doesn't. So this depends upon your naming. So the if you give DNA Y to DNA sequence, then you have to get Y here, y.com. Okay, so that is not. It's very straightforward. Like you will not get any errors actually, because it is not that too much complicated. Okay. So I will just continue with next program. So you can just sort. I hopefully I think you can sort it out. No problem. So yeah, I'm just talking about this codon and like mRNA codon. So from mRNA, you will get protein, right? So that is called translation actually. So how this translation happens, you will have a genetic code, right? So set of 3 nucleotides will code for one amino acid. That is how it is. So when I talk about start codon and stop codon, so you need to synthesize the protein from mRNA sequence, right? That means the cell has to understand from where I have to synthesize the protein in when I get mRNA sequence, from where I have to start synthesizing the polypeptide chain. So you need something for that. So for that, actually, we will so for initiating the translation, that is called protein synthesis, you need a start codon. So that is AUG, that codes for methionine. Okay. So it will check in the sequence where you have AUG. From that particular AUG, it will start synthesizing your polypeptide chain. So that it will synthesize the protein. And the cell has to know that where it has to stop, because if protein can't synthesize continuously, right? It can't be like that much long polypeptide chain. So cell has to understand where it has to stop. Then it has to recognize the stop codon. So you have 3 stop codons. See, totally we have 64 codons. In that, 3 are stop codons, like UAA, UGA, like UAA, UGA, UAG. So these are 3 stop codons. And what is the start codon? AUG. Okay. Now, coming back to Python. So I will give you some RNA sequence, and I will ask you, show me where, I just want to know where is AUG present in that particular sequence. How will I do that? Okay. So we'll just see that. Okay. So let me create one mRNA sequence first to do that. So I'm creating one RNA sequence. Yeah. So yeah. So what I will do is I will just give AUG first. Then again, so again, I will give GC. Again, I will give AUG. Okay. Okay. So now I know where is AUG present. So now I will try to find that using the string operation. How will I do that? Simply, you can just show this. Like, see, now it will show you. So where that AUG is present. Okay. So AUG is present at, that means it tells that it is starting from 0th position. Right? 0. See, base address. It will give you the base address of that particular starting point. Then you can know, yeah. So in this sequence, I have AUG. So I have it from 0th base address. So the output which we get here is 0. Okay. So we will move to next concept, lists. Okay. So now we discussed about strings. So there are some other, other data types we can call, that is called lists in Python. So these are like, lists are nothing but these are collection of objects. Okay, so you can you can store different data types in that, and they were enclosed by comma and separated in square brackets. So when you are mentioning list, you have to use square brackets. This is the basic rule. Okay, and why we have to use lists? What is the advantage of that? I will just explain you in coming lecture. So basically what are lists means? These are collection of objects that can be nested. That means, sometimes you need to write a program which will iterate. That means it has to repeat the same steps. That is called nesting actually. So if you want to use that kind of nesting things, then you can use lists. Okay, and how to create that? Like, what is the basic syntax for that? Okay, so I will just show one example to you. Yeah, this is the one example which I can show. Okay, you can see. So now I can just write example. Name should match. Yeah. So you can see what is the syntax of this. You have to use square brackets when you are declaring the lists, and the objects which are present inside should be separated using comma. That is what actually. Okay. Yeah, you can also know the base address. See, suppose if you want to know the base address of that particular element, you can do like this. I will just show one example how to do that. So I want to know the base address of 1. Anyone can please tell me what is the base address of 1 here?
1.
Yeah. So as you know, everyone, like the base address will start from 0. So in 0th position we have 0, and first position we have 1. So that's it. Okay. So what are the other things you can do? You can also do slicing. Okay, I already discussed about slicing. How will you mention that? Okay, like what is the basic syntax? So you have to use a particular base address, and you have to use colon operator and that particular ending base address which you want to do. Okay, so simple, you can just do this. Yeah. So the base address 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you have 4 in 4th position. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it will slice up to the element which is present before 8th base address. Okay, that is the thing. And if you use this one, if you use colon 7 or any particular number, it will give you everything until 7. See, so it will start from 0. It will print from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like this. Okay, suppose if you give 7 colon means it will print elements which are present after 7th base address. Okay, so these are the different functions when you are using slice. So we will learn more list functions, how to use those. So I'm creating one more list. So number is my list here. So now I will do one small basic operations on this. Okay, so suppose if I want to know the length of that particular list, what is the function of that? len. So when you are mentioning that, when you are doing operations on a list, so you have to use parentheses. Okay, number is name of that list, and length here I just want to know the length of that particular list.
7.
Yeah. So see, you can also find maximum which is present in that list. Minimum also you can do. Okay. So there are, see, you can also delete a particular number based on the base address. So in lists, no, you can't see what is the difference between strings and lists then. Can anyone tell what is the difference we found out here? So we can't change, once if you declare the string, no, you can't change that. You have to reassign that, but you can't change that. But in lists, you can change that. See, suppose if I take a list of elements, I can delete that. Okay. So here you can see, suppose if I want to delete particular number in that list with the help of base address. So what is that? What does it mean? So del is a keyword for deleting. Number is name of the list, and I'm asking to delete the element which is present in that third base address. Okay. Then if you type that list, so it will delete that and it will show you. See here, one example you can see. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So what is the element present in third base address? 86. So I am telling to delete that particular element. So I am using this del. Number is name of that particular list. So the base address means which element I want to delete. So I want to delete 86 here. So I have to know what is the base address of that particular element. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So what I have to give here? 3. So it will delete that number. So you can modify it. That's what I'm telling you. Once if you declare the list, you can modify it. But in strings, you can't do that. You know, that is the difference. You have to reassign that. See, suppose if you want to, you just declared one string. And if you want to declare some new value in that, that means again you have to reassign. So you can't use any function on string so that it will modify and it will give you some other string. Okay. Got it? So there are some common list operations, you know, these things you can just practice, you know, create one list. So S is a list here. So append means, see, yeah, I will just show one example here so that you people will understand. I'm going back to the, so we know what is the name of the list. Number is my list. Okay. Now I want to add some new element to this. Okay. How will I do that? What I have to do? Okay. So number. Okay. Number is name of that. Append means we are asking the list to join. Okay. In the bracket, what number you have to add? So I want to add 100 to that list. So, okay. So I didn't get any error. Now I am checking that. You can see. Okay. So this is the advantage of using lists. So you can modify it later. You can delete it. You can delete some new. You can delete the existing element. You can add some new element. So these are the things which you can do. You know, like that's why it is little bit advantageous when you compare with strings. Okay. So these are different functions which we can do. Now count again. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. In listing, how can I add a number in between? I mean, how do I give the command? Because when you typed 100, it just went to the last number. So if I want it to appear after 4, how do I give the command?
No. You can't add. See, element in the sense, it will come after the base address. After the, so what is your last base address? Your last base address is here. So it is starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7, right? Okay.
So if I don't want it to come in the last base address and I want it to come in the middle, how can I command that?
No, you can't do that. You can't do that. So what is the element which you add? No, it will be added in the, you can replace actually. You can replace that particular.
Okay.
You can replace that, but see, suppose if you want to add 100 in the place of 28, then you can do that. Okay, but
I can add 100 in between 28 and 165.
No, you can't do that. That's what I'm telling. No, you can replace particular element in between, but the element which you are going to add, no, it will be added at the end of the base address. So it will So you see here, that is the example which I'm going to, which I'm showing you now. So the 100 which I added came after 7 base address. So it will end at the, it will be added at the end. Okay, so these are different types. See, suppose if you want to count, you can count again. Suppose if you have, if you want to count particular how many times that here I want S is the name of the list and X is how many times, like X is the element which is present in that S, like this. Index means position. Okay, I don't know. You can also remove that particular element using remove. So S dot remove X means it can remove X element from the list S. So you can also reverse. You can simply see, suppose if I am the list which I am going to store is 1, 2, 3, 4. If I reverse that, then it will be 4, 3, 2, 1. The sorting means it will sort according to the descending order or ascending order. That is sorting. Okay, so, any doubts? Okay. So next concept is tuples. Okay, so these are also known as immutable lists, similar to lists, but cannot modify later. Okay. So these are similar to lists. Okay, but you can't modify it later. You understood, no? Like in lists, you can do it, you can modify it anytime. But tuples, those are immutable. That means you can't do any changes. Once if you declare the tuple, you can't do any changes. And the basic difference between tuples and lists. So basically for declaring lists, we are using square brackets, right? And for declaring the tuples, we are using parentheses. That's what exactly it is. So how will we declare that? What is the syntax? So point, I'm taking tuples, go back. Okay. So yeah. So yeah, I declared now. I declared that particular tuple. How will I know that that is tuple? Because I'm using parentheses. Suppose if I use square brackets here, then it is called list. Okay, so please understand the difference here. Okay, don't get confused. So again, you can access that particular element using the base address. Again, you can see which is present in the 0th position. So that is 23. Yeah, that is similar. Not that much difficult. You can do. You can do same operations actually. Again, suppose if I am creating the sequence, I can easily know what is the. I can already using this base address. I can know what is the position of M, what is the V. Okay, now another concept is, suppose if you have a sequence, right? How will you turn into list? So I want to, because if I use that particular sequence as a string, I can't do operations, right? I can't modify it. But I want to modify that sequence later. So I don't want to work on sequence actually. So now I have a sequence. How will I turn that into list? So I will just show you that. So yeah, this is my sequence. Yeah, I can just type and see whether it is there or not. Yeah, so you can see this is the sequence. Now I want to turn this sequence into list. How will I do that? Simple one, use list keyword and convert that. Okay, see the difference between them. So this is the sequence or string. So which I am using double quotes for declaring the string. Okay, so I want to convert that into list. So I'm using this list keyword and I'm opening the bracket, parenthesis bracket, and I'm declaring the sequence which I want to turn that into a list. So when I do that, you will get the sequence in the form of a list. I told you it will be enclosed in square brackets. Okay, separated by commas. That's it. Okay. So yeah, so you can do all these things. So next concept which I'm going to discuss is dictionaries. Okay, so now initially we came to know about strings, then lists, then tuples, then now dictionaries. Okay, what does it mean? Like how it is useful for us. Okay, so why we have to use that in particular, not DNA sequence, but why we have to use that in bioinformatics programs. So basically, again, the dictionaries, lists, or everything, not lists or dictionaries or tuples. These are collection of objects. Okay, so but there are different rules for that. Suppose if you take lists, so we are using square brackets separated by comma. Suppose if you are using tuples, then we will use parentheses. Suppose we want to use dictionaries, we will use flower brackets. Okay, and there we have key and value. So see, this is the value. So here you can see how I declared this. So you can see this. So a single letter code for glycine is G, right? So glycine is a value here, and particular key for that is G, like that. Okay, so this will be useful when you are declaring the genetic code. Okay, so you can just you can just see this syntax how it is. Okay, I will just quickly copy this. When you're copying, be careful because you may get error here actually because it went to some other page, right? So make sure you're copying it properly. Otherwise, you may get error. So everything has to be declared in single line, right? Otherwise, you will get error. Copy it slowly, no problem. So this is a simple genetic code, okay, like which consists of what I can say. Single letter codes and single letter codes, amino acids, and it is single letter codes. So one more left, I guess. So in dictionary, you have two values, two items actually. One is value, one is key. Okay. So here the value will be your glycine and G will be your key for accessing that value. So now you can see, so type code and see, so you will get that. Okay. Now, if you want to access those items in the dictionary, what you have to do, you can see this. So code dot values, if you type, so you can see what are the values here, G, A, L, I. So the single letter codes which you are seeing are, okay. So if you want to see the items, then you can do this code dot items, okay. You can also delete something if you want. So like this here, I want to delete MET, right? Like methionine, I want to delete. If you do that, then this part will be deleted. Okay. So you can do operations like this. And these are different methods of dictionaries. You can see. I will just, I will just show you some examples so that you can use when you are practicing. So here, okay. So length of, if I give code, so code is the name of dictionary. So you can see 20, Okay, what is the length of that? You have 20 amino acids and their single letter codes, right? So like this, you have to create one dictionary and you can try all these methods. Okay, so you will understand exactly what it is. Okay, so suppose if you use clear a.clear, right, it will delete everything. If you want to delete particular like particular amino acid, if you want to delete, you have to use delete. Okay, A is the name of your dictionary and K means the element which you want to remove, right? Like this. So it's not difficult. So you need to practice. That's what I'm telling, because if you don't practice, right, whatever you are learning now, it is, I think there is no use of that actually. Okay, so whenever I'm teaching something, no, you have to be very careful. Like you have to do your own homework. So like, you know, you got this PDF. Just try the things. Like suppose from where, like suppose if you get any problem there, you can get back to us so that we can clarify it. So you will also get a little bit of practice. So yeah, any questions? Any questions? Any questions, please? No questions? Okay, I will just continue. So next thing is we learned about you know, like some basics or basic operations about variables, data types and all. Then we learned about strings. We have done some programs on DNA sequence or mRNA protein things and all. So next thing, I'm going to introduce you some about some you know, some concepts which you can use in your code. Okay, so those are very important. I don't say like it's not important. So I just like before first I will stop sharing. I want to know. So anyone can please tell me like what is if statement? Anyone, can you please answer that question? What is meant by if else? Like what do you understand if you use if?
Conditional statement.
Yeah, conditional statement, exactly. So can you please tell me what is the function of that? Why will you use? What is your name, please?
Udom, Israel Udom.
Okay, so I hope you have some experience on programming languages, right?
You use the if statement if you are running a loop or you want to compare 2 or 3 numbers. You want to take decision.
Okay, yeah. Then then I think you can easily understand what I'm going to talk. Okay, so when we talk about conditional statements, you know, when you are writing codes, suppose if you want to check some condition. So for an example, let's forget about bioinformatics, right? Suppose let's talk in a programming way. Okay, so suppose if I give you a number, I just want to know whether that number is even or not, even or odd. Okay, so what is the condition here? So the number which I am going to give you, so you have to tell me whether it is even number or odd number, right? So next question comes like what it is exactly. Any number divided by 2, if remainder is 0, that is even number, right? Other than that, it is odd number. Okay, you understood that. You can easily say. So when I ask you that, when I ask you the similar question, you will easily answer. But how computer will answer that? Okay, so I'm not telling you to check in Google like what are the even numbers, what are odd numbers, what is an even number. You will get answer there. But suppose if you are writing a program, how will you make that particular computer to understand that? Okay, that is the thing. So for that kind of things, we will use conditional statements. Okay, so conditional statements is it executes a block of code if that specific condition is true or false. So it will check. So initially it will go to that particular condition. So here, what is my condition here? So
excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Praveen sir, your screen is not shared.
No. Yeah. I didn't share my screen yet. I will just share. Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Okay. So, if you are checking a particular condition, no expression, so that is called expression or condition. So it will check whether that condition is true or not. Okay. So if it is true, it will print particular value. If it is not, if it is false, then it will print particular value. So that's why. So in Python, how will we do this? You know, like in Python, how will we use conditional statements? So if so, this is the basic syntax here, right? I am just highlighting that thing. So if then expression. Suppose if you are checking even or odd number, then it will be n by 2 is equal to 0. Okay. Block 1. So you have to write what you need to print. If so n% 2 is equal to 0, then you will just write down, yeah, that number is even. Else, again, print that number is not even. Okay, so that is the thing. I hope everyone understood that why I am saying this. Okay, so I will quickly. Yeah. So one good example which I'm going to discuss now. Anyone know about primer? Anyone from experimental biology? What is meant by primer? You know, people who are running PCR, no, RT-PCR. So those people will come to know about primer. What does
Sir,
it
can I
mean?
explain?
Yeah. You can explain. What is your name?
Sir, my name is Priyanka.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sir, basically, sir, primer is a short nucleic acid sequence, and that provides a starting point for our DNA synthesis.
Yeah. So you know, yeah, you just told that. So then I will just continue. Okay. So the primer which you are going to, you know, primer is like, see, suppose I don't know how people will take this. You know, when you are taking a DNA sequence, obviously, if you want to make a copy of that, okay, what you will do? Basically, you will run a PCR, right? Okay. So when you want to create a copy of that similar gene, you need something to synthesize that, right? Along with the enzyme. Like enzyme means that, you know, like actually I am from a biotechnology background. I know biology also, and I have done my master's in bioinformatics. So I know programming. So for me, it is very easy to understand. But people who are not like from biology background and not from programming language, no, so they will get a little bit confused. Okay, so suppose if you know about DNA, then you will understand about what I am talking. Okay, so if you want to make a copy of DNA, then you have to run PCR. So for running PCR, what you need? You need primer and you need enzyme. So that is called, what is the enzyme? Is my voice
Polymerase.
Is my voice breaking or is it clear? Okay, so the enzyme which we are going to use is DNA polymerase. Okay, so the DNA polymerase, when you are doing that, you know, when you are doing that, so PCR, we will call it as master mix. So in that master mix, you have to add primer and you have to add your DNA polymerase, and it will synthesize and it will make a copy. So where this primer comes actually? So that is a very interesting question, because the primer is basically short sequence which is present in your gene sequence, which you want to synthesize that. Okay. And how will you design that? So you have in bioinformatics, you have so many softwares for doing that. If I remember it properly, you know, like I have done it a long time ago. So I know one software that is Primer 3.0, I guess. So you can give your DNA sequence there directly, and you can and it can easily synthesize that. It will give you like what is your primer. Okay. So there are so many rules for understanding the primer. So who are from molecular biology, obviously they will be very good in that. Okay, like how you have to select a particular primer, like what considerations you have to see, what you have to, like what you have to consider. There are so many things when you are synthesizing when you are deciding your primer, because the primer which you are going to select should synthesize your DNA copy. Okay. So when you are using these computational approaches, there is a high chance of selecting a wrong primer. Okay, so that's what I'm telling. You have to validate that before going to your experiment. Otherwise, you will end up 0 copies. So that is the thing which you have to consider, and you have to know also how to do that. Okay, so people who are from molecular biology can easily do that. Okay, so no need to worry about that. So now, once if you synthesize the primer, like once if you get the primer sequence, how will you check the quality of that? Okay, like how will you know that the primer is better, like the primer is good or not? Okay, by seeing the sequence you can tell. See, suppose the basic length, like this primer sequence should be between 10 to 25 nucleotides. Okay, so that is the basic size. Okay, that means it should not be less than 10 and it should not be more than 25, right? So that is the thing actually. So the length should be between this 10 and 25. Okay, now I have a sequence. Okay, now I have a sequence, my primer sequence. So I want to check whether that size is fine or not. Like I want to know whether that size is okay or not. How will I do that? So by using Python program. So now I will just show you how to write a program in scripting. Like this is the command line we are using now. This is a command prompt. You can also write some script actually. How will you do that? I will just show you now. Please play please pay the attention here now. So go to file. So this is your ideally shell. So go to file. Okay. Why I'm doing this? Because sometimes you can't run big codes in command line. You have to write script separately and you can run that. So go to file, create a new file. Okay. So it will a window will come like this. Okay. You can just write your Python script. So first now I'm simply writing one print statement here for your understanding. So print name. Okay, so this is my simple program. Okay, now I have to run this. How will I do this? You have see, suppose if, you can see here you have some options here like file, edit, format, run, and all. Okay, you can just click this run. So you have run module. Okay, what it says, you have to save that before running. Click OK. Okay, so you can save your program anywhere you want. You can also save it in desktop. So I am saving that in desktop. Yeah, I will just give some name. Okay, so CADD I will give. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So now, see it already ran and it gave me output here like name. You can just go to that script again and you can directly run. You can see where I saved this. This is the path of that particular script. So users PRAVE, I saved it in desktop. So what is the name of that file? cadd.py. So the extension for Python file is .py. So that is a Python script file. So now if you run this, see you will get output here in your command line. Clear? Any questions? Because this is very important, because every time you will not use your command line for writing big codes, because at some point you have to start your writing your scripts in script format like this. Clear? Okay. So now let's go back to our original problem, what I'm going to talk now. Yeah. So I talked about primer then. So about this primer, after this primer, actually, what I will do is I just want to check the size of that. Okay, that primer size. Okay, whether it is okay or not. So I will just give randomly how to do that. Okay, so I'm simply copying this script now. Okay, I will just edit in this script. You can also do the same. Okay. I'm simply copying that which is present in that particular and in this also I will show you in this script. I will also show you what kind of errors you may get when you are using conditional statements. Okay, so Python is like that. Initially it will be good, but once if you go once if you go on writing the scripts, you will face small problems, like which are not difficult to solve, but you have to understand, because see, sometimes getting errors is also very good, because that is a nice way to learn programming language. Okay, so suppose if you write a new program, right, you need to get a error, then only you are doing it properly. Suppose if you are not getting error, I don't think so that you are doing it properly. You should get error. Remember this. Okay, this is a very good good rule actually. So yeah, I will just copy this first, then I will explain you what I am doing here. Okay. So when I am doing this, you people also do simultaneously, so you will understand. Okay. Yeah. So now the code which I am going to show you now is, I already told you, I am checking this quality, the size of that particular primer sequence. So I have to give some primer sequence. So I will give some primer sequence from my keyboard. Okay, so that's why how I declared this DNA is equal to input means I already told you, so you have to use input keyword if I want to give input by keyword. So that is called real-time input. Okay. So this is the statement what I wrote here. Next one is sorry. So I am taking one more variable called seek size. So is equal to length means, sorry. Somebody is asking any question, or it's like, I request you to please switch off your microphones when you don't have any doubt. Okay. Like, please switch off your microphones. So whenever you have any doubt, you can just switch on your microphone and you can ask the question. Right?
Sorry, please.
Yeah, it's okay. But so I'm taking one more variable, that is sex size, and I'm calculating the length of that, because that's what I want to do. I want to compare that length, and I just want to see the primer is okay or not. Okay. So I'm taking sex size is equal to length of DNA. Okay. Now loop starts. So if, okay, the condition is, what is my condition here? If that length, that means sex size is the variable, is less than 10. Okay, then what it has to print? It has to print that the primer must have at least 10 nucleotides. Okay, so that means my primer is not fine. Okay, because it is that length is less than 10. Okay. Suppose if the length is less than 25 nucleotides, then the size is okay. Okay. Else that primer is too long. Okay, so you understood no what I'm, so here my condition is I'm comparing the sex size, that means length of the primer. I know what is the condition here. It should be between 10 to 20 to 25 nucleotides. Suppose if it is less than 10, then that primer is not good. Okay, that means the length which I'm going to calculate should be between this 10 and 25. Okay, suppose if it is crossing 25, then that primer length is too long actually. Okay, so this is yeah, before writing the program, no, this is the one which you have to which you have to do it yourself in your brain. Then you have to put like this. Yeah, done. So now, yeah, you think you wrote something here. So here I'm using else if. Okay, so if else if means, if I use else if means if it is satisfying that particular condition, then it is okay. Otherwise, what, like suppose if it is not satisfying, else, that's why we are using else there. Okay, now I will just save this. So if you want to save again, you can save this. Okay, now I saved it. So what is the next thing I have to do? I have to run this script. Now it says enter your DNA sequence. Okay, when I run this, so I am giving some random sequence like this. Okay, so it says this size is okay. You understood, no? Why I got this kind of output? So go to your script again. Because the length which I gave is in between 10 and 25. That's why the size is okay. You can run like I will just run again. So yeah. So I gave 3 nucleotides. That means what output I should give? It is less than. So it should say like the primer must at least have 10 nucleotides. I will give. I am checking another output also. So go to run module. Then I am entering the sequence here. Yeah. Which should cross. Yeah. Understood? Here we checked 3 conditions. One, at the exact size of primer. Another one is less than that particular size. Another one is oversize. Okay, that is too long. Okay. So you understood, no, like how to write this particular script in how to save that and how to run. Okay. So similar program, if you want to write in command line, no, it will be a little bit hectic for you. Okay, that's why whenever you are writing your code, no, suppose if it is crossing more than 2 lines, I recommend you to use script. Okay, so like script window, so that you can save that and you can run. Okay. So I will just continue. Yeah. Any questions? So I hope everyone is following. Yeah, another one. Suppose if you have a DNA sequence, right? Suppose if you want to find a primer in that particular sequence, whether it is present or not. So, if you want to know whether that sequence is whether that primer is present or not in that particular sequence, you can do that. So we will just do that. Again, the same script. So go to your script again. So this one I'm deleting. So I'm writing some new script. So again, so I'm declaring my DNA initially. You can also enter it like you can also do it if you want to enter it by keyboard. You can just give you input, then you can enter that particular sequence. Okay. Here directly I'm giving the sequence. So I'm also giving the primer sequence which I want to find out. So what I am doing here, so I am declaring 2 strings. One is DNA, another one is my primer sequence, which I want to find that in DNA. Okay. Suppose if the sequence is present in that, it has to say, yeah, the sequence is present, found. It has to print found. Suppose if that particular primer is not present in that sequence, then it has to say not found. Simple, no? Very simple. Okay, let's first, you have to save, no? Because I'm writing everything in same script. Whenever you are doing that, you have to resave that again. So now I'm running that. See, I got some error. what it says, invalid character. So please check whether you are declaring your string properly or not. So here I didn't declare my string properly. So okay. Again, here also I may get similar error. So I'm changing it now. Okay, let's try this now. Again, it says invalid character. Oh my God, again I got the error here. So again, I have to change this. Okay.
Found.
So you may get similar error here.
So excuse me.
Change it. Yeah, yeah.
So if DNA dot find, so will we put the primer in quotes because it is not a string, it is a variable.
So what is this actually? Here actually primer means what it is? Variable, no?
So here you are declaring it like a string, not a variable in the
Yeah,
DNA.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You can just run it and see whether you are getting any error. Yeah, who is raising the hand? Yeah, you can ask the question if you want.
Yeah, this is one of the frustrating things about this programming and coding. If you just miss something, it will just tell you, give you some syntax, some error. So
Yeah.
how is it that one will keep checking and keep trying, no specific, no specific.
See, that is what I told you, right?
Yeah.
You know, see, when you are, it's not frustrating thing actually. So that is how coding works. You know, like when you are learning any programming languages.
You know what I said, frustrating. At times, if you don't put a space or if you don't put something,
That's why you have to
open this thing.
Yeah, you have to, you have to find out that, no? See, you will easily come to know where you are doing the error. See, suppose if your basics are correct, then you can easily solve that particular program. Okay. Now you see, I'm getting one new error. What it says, invalid syntax. So what does this mean? Invalid syntax. Where I'm doing wrong?
You've not created the block. The print should be in a different block.
Yes. So I told yesterday, you have indentation errors, right? So in Python, when you're writing your codes in this particular format, when you're writing your code in scripting, like in form of script, you have to be very careful where you are giving space, where you are declaring your like things. Okay, so see, basically when you're declaring, so this is this is the syntax for if. Okay, so I'll just
block, yes. And the next print, the next else print and event block, yes.
Yeah. So see here, so very simple rule, no? Like don't get confused, Suppose if I give my print here, you may get error because that is a wrong indentation, right? First write code like this. Okay, when you write code like this, press enter. So it will show you the correct intent. Okay, so it will tell you where you have to keep your cursor. So here again, see, suppose simple rule, it is very easy. So all print statements, see, all conditions should come in single line and all print statements should come in same alignment. Okay, so like that you can find out. So first you run. If you may get error, then again you have to see. So again it says invalid syntax. What is this?
Find should be a different. If the end.
Yeah, like what it is exactly. Let's check this. So what error we are getting here? Anyone who can solve this? Very small, Small mistake in that.
Sir, the P of primer. It is
No, I corrected that. No, I corrected that. Not that. See, I is a capital here. No, it should be
yes,
small.
sir.
Yeah.
Sir, if and also helps.
Yeah. Okay. I hope now it is fine. So you can just save that. Okay. Now simply run that. So form. Luckily we have that. Otherwise, if you don't, that's why sometimes don't use that. You see that
It's
PDF.
case sensitive.
Sorry.
Like the code is case sensitive.
Yeah. So you should not use see loops.
Or package.
See, when you are using conditional statements, no, obviously those are case sensitive. No, you can't because that is a basic syntax. You can't change that. Suppose if it is small, it is in capitals. You have to use that in capitals. Suppose if it is small letters, you have to use that in small letters. So that is case sensitive. When you are trying to use loops and all, no, it should be like this. So follow the basic syntax, like how it was declared in the syntax. You have to declare in the same way. Okay, and don't get frustrated when you are, like that's what you have to find out. Suppose if your basics are fine, right, then you will easily find out your error. Okay, so that is what you have to learn. Okay, so the main aim of this session is to write small scripts in Python. I'm not asking you to become expert. Okay, so become expertise will be very difficult and it will take some time. You may become expert, but it will take some time actually. So eventually, if you practice, no, it will take to you. So no need to worry about that. So no need to think about those kind of things. So it is not that frustrating when you are learning something new to you, which is not known. Obviously, you may get some problems. You can correct it by learning basics. So this is what. So what mistakes I have done in that program, easily I can identify, right? Like I declared I in capitals. I declared E in capitals. That's where I got that error, right? We will move to next concept. So next one is loops. Okay, so we learned about if statement. So those are called conditional statements. So suppose if we are, yeah.
And why are you declaring the DNA as a string instead of as a string with the double quotes? I think it's supposed to be a single quote.
You can use double quotes or single quotes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there is no rule that you have to only see. DNA is a string, because it is a group of characters. So when you are declaring string, well, you can use it single quotes or double quotes. That doesn't matter. Same thing. See, same thing. I can use single quotes also. I will just show you. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can just clarify like this, so that there will be no any doubt. So I have to save this. Yeah, see, that doesn't matter whether if you use single. So you have to define that string. How will you define is by using quotes, whether it is single quote or double quote, that doesn't matter. So yesterday also I told, when you declare a string, DNA is a string here. Okay, DNA is a string because DNA is a group of characters. ATGC is a group of character. So we can declare it as a string only. There is no other way. That's why much like I emphasized on string operations, because DNA and RNA are strings. Whatever operations we are doing, that will be on strings only. So that's why we have done this. Okay.
Understood.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So next one is we'll go for loops here. So the basic difference is if conditional, like conditional statements means we'll use if. Okay. If means if you are using that particular if statement, that means we are checking particular condition. Already we discussed some programs. And when you are using loops, what is the use of loops? Some things you will come to know, like you need to print some things repeatedly, and you want it to execute that whole code. So for that kind of thing, what you have to do, you have to use loops. Okay. So basically, for is one loop, while loop is there, for loop is there, do while is there. There are different types of loops. Loops actually in this programming language. So suppose if you take C language, you have for, you have while loop, you have do while. But basically, people will use for loop because it will have so many advantages when you compare with other loops. See, suppose if you the basic difference, no, when you are using the loops, no, in C language, if we talk at a time, you can declare, you can increment, and you can check the condition. In same, if you use for, no, you can do it everything in at a time in single statement. For while, you can't do like that. Suppose if you use while loop, then you have to check the condition. Then you have to print the statement. Okay. So if that condition is satisfying, then it will print. Suppose if it is not satisfying that condition, again it will go and it will check the condition again. So it will goes on executing until unless that condition is true. Okay. So once if it is false, then it will come out of the loop and it will print that statement. Okay. So that is the thing exactly. So now this is the basic syntax. If you use R, if you use in Python, this is the basic statement like for. So this is the basis, that is I'm taking it as a list. Okay. For X in basis, that means I'm taking one iteratable variable here. So you can take anything in there. Like I can take I can take anything. So I for X is iteratable variable. So which you want to iterate in your particular loop. Okay. And basis is name of that particular list. Okay. So I will just, this is the basic syntax. So what is that? For X is a iteratable variable. There is no rule that it should be X. It can be anything. I, K, or anything. I, this is same. It has to be similar. Okay. This will not change. Basis is name of your list. Okay. And you have to, for every conditional statement or loops, no, you have to use colon for that. Okay. So this is the basic syntax of for loop in Python. So we will just do this program now. I will just do it in this. So I declared one list that is called basis. Then I'm using for loop. Okay, so you will not get any indentation problem here because there is no other statement to write. So just save that. So what output you may get here? Anyone? Anyone? What is your output which we expect? Anyone?
Print statement.
Yeah, print statement. So what output you may get there? That is what I'm asking. No?
Print base.
Yeah, it will print the bases
Base.
which are present in that particular list. Okay. Am I clear? So let's go to our script and run this. Okay, so I have to save. Now I have to run that. So it says I expected an indented block after for loop for statement on line 2. So what is your error here?
First statement
So,
should start there.
yeah, you have to mention that. What you have to mention? You should have some statement, no? Otherwise it will not print, no? So let's check this way. So it says invalid syntax. Okay. So what is the error here? Anyone?
Let's see the script again.
What you have to use here actually? You have to
Let's see.
print, no? You have to print, right?
Print.
Yeah, what you have to do? Print X, right?
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay, now just run that. Understood?
Yes.
What it has done.
Yeah, done.
So wantedly, sometimes what will happen? No, this is how you learn. Okay. So the purpose of this program is you have to. So you gave a list and you need to print that using for variable. How will you do this? So you have to take one iteratable variable. So that has to iterate in the list and it has to print. So here I took list and for x in basis means this is my iteratable variable. So suppose if I give I here, then I have to write I here. Okay. So you can just save and run that. Save, run. Okay, that's it. Very simple, right? Understood? No, the main concept is that. So why we got the error means we didn't declare anything after declaring that statement. So that's why, see. So after this column, some statement should be there, colon operator, something should be there to understand, like Python has to understand that. Okay. So, okay, we'll go to next program. So write a simple program to print a codon list from DNA sequence using for loop. Okay, so I have to use a for loop and I have to print a codon list. I told no, what is codon? Anyone? Anyone? What is a codon? I already discussed no this one. What is a codon?
Nucleotide basis. The make up an amino acid.
So what does it mean? Like codon is how many nucleotides you should have?
3 nucleotides.
Yeah.
Which forms an amino acid.
Yes. So now I want to write a simple program that has to print the codon list from DNA sequence. Okay. So quickly I am copying that code. Okay, so this is my DNA sequence. Now I have to print the codon list. That means I have to split this DNA sequence into 3 nucleotides. So what I have to get output ATG, AGT, TAG. Understood? No, exactly what I'm going to do it now. So it has to print that. Okay, then calculating the length. So that depends upon how will you do. Then, yeah. So now you have to use a for loop for that. So what I will do here, I will simply copy this. I will just write down this so that you will understand. Okay. 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 So here you can see this, like I gave the DNA sequence. Okay. I don't need to print this length, which is not useful for me now. So DNA is equal to AGT. This is my DNA sequence. Now I want to print the codon list. So what should be the length of the codon? I already told you it should be 3 nucleotides. So I am taking one iteratable variable, that is I. In range means, range. What is range? Anyone? Can you please anyone tell me what is the range? Range is minimum to maximum. Okay. So here I'm declaring the range. So this is one keyword to declare the range. So it will start from 0 and length of the DNA. So length means this is the whole. So it has to check whole length of the DNA. Okay. And what is the size of that nucleotide which I want to get? 3. Okay. Now that means what you have to understand here, you have to slice your sequence, right? Because I need a codon list which is having 3 nucleotides. Okay, that means I need to slice the DNA sequence. Okay, so that means I have to, sorry.
Yeah, slice into 3.
Yeah, 3. So that's why I gave this function here, right? So DNA is the name of the DNA sequence. Okay. Then I means iteratable variable. I plus 3 means, so it will take 3 nucleotides and it will split. So colon operator is used for splitting. So let me save that first. And then we have to, so I didn't get anything.
You've not added the print
So there is
statement.
no output to be given.
There's no output. You didn't put the print statement. Yes.
This is what you are saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Save.
Yeah, that's it.
Nice.
I hope you people are following it properly. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. So now I have a DNA sequence. And from the DNA sequence, I'm just printing the codon list which I want. You know, that's the beauty of this, you know, like you know, you have a long DNA sequence. Manually, how will you do that? So see, like within seconds, you can do that within 2 to 3 lines. So I just wrote one line for making it to understand, and it is doing this wonders. Suppose if you that is in Python. Suppose if I want to write same program in C+ or C language, it will be more complicated. So it will be very tough actually. Okay. So next loop is while loop. Again, same thing. The syntax will be similar, but here I have to declare that while, and this is the condition. Again, colon operator statements. Okay. So this is very small program, like a is equal to 10. So a should be less than 40, and it goes on increasing, but it should be less than 40. That means the loop has to come out when it is satisfying this particular condition. Here you can see, initially I declared a variable that is a is equal to 10. So the condition is a should be less than 10, less than 40. So what is the expression I gave here? A is equal to a plus 10. So how does it work? No, see, suppose if you want to learn programming, no, like just see very clearly. So you can see here, I know a is equal to 10. This is the condition. So it will check, yeah, a is equal to 10. That means it is less than, it is satisfying the condition. Then to this 10, one new 10 will be added. So it will go to this condition. It will check, yeah, 20 is less than 40. Yeah, it is satisfying the condition. Now a will be 20. So again, 20 will be 20 plus 10. So 30 will be there. So a will be 30 here. Again, it will go to condition. Yeah, 30 is less than 40. Okay. So a will be 30 here. So 30 plus 40, 30 plus 10, 40. So now 40 is less than 40. That means, yeah, it is less than 40. So it has to, like it should not print more than that, because the condition which we gave here is less than 40. So it will, based on that, it will satisfy the condition. So that depends upon what condition if you give, until unless and it will do that. So next concept is functions. So the function is nothing, function, like it is the easiest way to modelize your code. So the advantage of using function is you can easily reuse that. Okay, so this is the basic syntax of that, right? So DEF. So the keyword for defining function is DEF. Okay. Addition is function name, and these are the arguments. So this thing, I will just show you this example, how to do this. Okay. So this is one simple script I am writing. Okay. So simply see, you can also just check whether the indentations or errors or not. So I'm just running this. Yeah, it's running. Now I want to run this function because I already declared the function right here. I already declared the function. What is my function name here? The addition. So I want to add two numbers. Okay, I already gave a plus b. How will I do that now?
There's no print statement. Add print statement.
Yeah. I will just give. Directly I can reuse here, no? The function. See, you understood exactly what I'm saying. You can reuse that function. Okay, so I already declared the function here. So what is the name of the function? Addition. Okay, so I want to reuse that particular function. I already declared this addition function, so I want to declare this addition a comma b. So in the place of a, I am taking 5. In the place of b, I am taking 6. So 5 plus 6, 11. That's it. You understood, no? So you do. I don't need to write another code for writing writing numbers. I don't want to write one new code for that because I already declared a function for addition, right? You understood, no, what I'm saying? So that's
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
So similar program, you can do it for GCDNA content, and you can do that. So you can just do this in your practice when you are practicing this. Yeah. So yeah, all these things. Yeah, so I don't know whether I have a time or not for continuing this. Yeah, so the files is not that much important. Like I don't emphasize you to use files. So up to now, what you learned is little bit basics on bioinformatics on how to use that. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me now.
Why you don't come back? You don't know.
Yes.
But why is it 5 o'clock? Why did you, where did you go to?
I don't go to anywhere.
Any doubts?
Dear participant, if you have any question, you can unmute. Any question, please? John, you can unmute. Okay. Jasprit Kaur, Jimmy George, Showpreet, please feel free to ask if you have any question so that we can discuss here. Israel, have you any question? Either you can put your question in the chat box also. Okay. I think there is no more question. Thank you, dear professor, for your valuable, informative, and knowledgeable thought. This was really very interesting, and we enjoy throughout your presentation. All the content which you present here are really. There is one question from Jimmy. Just concerned about the platform he is using for the Python. Dear Professor Praveen, There is one question from the Jimmy George asking concern about the platform he is using for the Python.
Yeah.
Because there are several type of modules are there for the Python.
Yes,
As well as
yeah,
different platforms are there.
Yeah, I will just explain him. Yeah. Okay. So it is what is his name? I forgot. Okay, Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy. Yeah. Hi,
Yeah,
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
So yeah, no, look, yeah, about the platform, which I'm, there are so many platforms in executing the problems. See, when you are doing this, I suggest you to use, as I already told you, like the software which I installed now, I have that in my system. So I showed you that. So there are so many platforms, right? Like you can use PyCharm. Okay. So PyCharm is one. You can use PyCharm if you want. And the best thing is Google Colab. Okay. I will quickly just show that, how to use that. Like, Google Colab is very good when you are working with Python. Okay. So I will just quickly share my screen so that people will come to know about that. Yeah. Yeah. So you can see here, right? Like this is the Google Colab. You can simply import your notebooks. So Python notebooks basically.
Sir, I think participant need to explain more detail how they can, if account is required to create on Google Colab,
Yeah.
or how they can use.
Yeah, you can use it directly. See, you can directly, I am just showing you, how to do that. Okay. So if you want to run this, just click this. So it will, so it didn't execute still. So it will execute. Okay. So after executing, it will, you will get that particular output. So similar thing. So why I will see if you get any error, it will show you here. So if you get any error, it will show you. So if you are getting a blue tick here, the green tick here, that means your code is fine. Okay. So if you want to print, you can just use print here. It's very easy. Okay. But I recommend to use these people who are, you see, you can easily print. Similarly, you can write your codes and you can just run here. Why advantage here is, this is a cloud, this is a Google Cloud actually. So you have, see, I already highlighted, you have 12 GB RAM here available, and you also have some hard disk. Okay, you can use, see. So suppose if you register with your Google Gmail account, so you will get 107 GB storage, and the hard, like, you can get good RAM also, and it works on GPU and CPUs also. So it will be easy for you when you are writing some big programs, right? Yeah. Any other questions?
Any more question, please?
Yeah, there is one question. Is there any
Rebecca.
problem with using IDLE for running Python? Absolutely no problem. You can use. That depends. That's what I'm telling. No, I'm also comfortable with Google Colab, and I am also comfortable with Python IDLE. So initially, when I learned Python, I used this IDLE Python. So as a basic, you can, if you're a basic student, you can use. Yeah. Thank you. It appears like Jupyter Notebook, right? Exactly. So that, see, Python notebooks, which I am talking about as Jupyter notebooks. Yeah. So the extension will be different. So the extension for Jupyter notebooks will be IPYNB. Yeah. Any other questions?
Any more question, please?
Yeah, Stephanie.
Yeah, is this your last class with us?
Yeah, I think this is the last class. Yeah.
All the assignments, how are we going to find out if we are getting them or not?
Sorry.
The assignments you gave, how are we going to find out how we are coping with them?
So you can, I will give my email ID to my coordinator. So to the coordinator, I will give my email ID. You can just contact me by email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you very much, honestly.
Yes, exactly.
I think all the questions. Okay, no more questions, sir. Thank you, dear professor, once again, and all the participants for joining this session. And tomorrow we will join at the same time. If there is any kind of change in the schedule, we will intimate you at least 1 hour before. So now it is time to close the session. Thank you very much, dear professor, once again. And thank you all the participants.
Okay. So if you have any questions or if you want any help regarding Python, or if you want to do any collaboration, or if you want to do, if you are facing any problem in your research regarding, bioinformatics things, so I'm always happy to help. Okay. So see, the main thing is when you are, like when you are attending some training programs or workshops, right? Like making contacts, that is one thing, that is the main thing actually. So you have to create a network so that people will help you. Okay. So yeah, session will end, or this training session will be ended, and you may attend some new training session. But after that, if you have any problem in that particular topic, what I taught you, so you'll always be like, you are always welcome to contact, and we are happy to help you. Okay. So thank you very much.
Yes. Yes, dear professor, I will provide your email address to all the participants whenever they need. I'm sure they will contact you. And
Okay.
I also ask to all the participants, please always feel free to ask any question whenever we organize this type of event. Resource persons are always very happy when you put some questions, because when resource persons are available here, when they are presenting, their knowledge is also increased while you are asking some questions. So I think these 2 days session was really very interactive, and many questions were discussed from your side also. And if for future contact, I will provide you the contact number as well as the email address. And also, Praveen sir is also in the WhatsApp group which we create for this workshop. Okay. Thank you very much. Now we are ending the session.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you and have a nice day.